Hi everyone, welcome to episode 148 of the Yarnivore Podcast. I'm Sadie. I'll be your host. I'm also known as Blue Ruin on Rivalry, We Shoot Stars on Plurk, and Sadie Ruin on Twitter and Instagram, where you can find me most of the time. Because apparently, even if I can't move, for whatever reason, I will tweet something. Or Instagram something. Probably a pet. It's going to be a cat. Or a dog. Or a husband with a cat or a dog. As is my way of late. You get me completely makeupless with bad hair and bad lighting. Because it wasn't getting done otherwise. I know it's been 2 weeks. I've had a long 2 weeks. Let me tell y'all. If you read the board, you know, shortly after recording the episode with all the prize winners, who are bagged and tagged and going out at some point this week. For everybody who's contacted me, I haven't responded to anyone, but I have been prepping the mail. It will go out. But shortly after the great winner, awesomeness of Snuggles 2014, I received the news that my aunt passed away. And she had been fighting a form of blood cancer for several years. And we kind of knew it was coming because she decided to refuse transfusions. So that was a lot of my week. Actually, the last 2 weeks have primarily been that. Dealing with that mentally and supporting my family. I will be going back home and taking the husband with me. He'll be his first time in Regina. We'll be there for a weekend. We get there Friday night and we leave Sunday afternoon. Lucky man. But thankfully Jack will be watching the house. And the babies. They're taken care of. We're good. Yeah. So that's going to be April, the first weekend of April. I'll be out of town. And yeah. So lots of work. I threw myself into work because that's what I tend to do when I'm... Because I was just like, okay, there's going to be talking in the intro, so you can just skip until you see me hold something up if you don't want to hear it. But dealing with finding out that the husband has to leave on June 10th to go to a coast of the U.S. to be deployed out to Diego Garcia to be there. Subsequently organizing everything related to that. I need a landline, which is coming today. So if there's a break in the podcast or it all of a sudden stops, you know that's because the people who are here to give me a landline, which I need because otherwise he can't call home. And that is not an option for me. We'll have computers, we can Skype. I'm like, I don't freaking care. We're getting a damn phone. Put my foot down. That's all I got, really. It's like, put my foot down. I need a landline, just in case. What if the rapture happens? I don't believe in rapture. I'm sorry, I don't. So, dealing with that. Got some bra lines going on here. This shirt is a little tight on me right now. And the bra's a little loose. So there's no winning. Just gonna grope myself several times. If you like that stuff. So I've been kind of losing my mind. Very much. It's not a funeral we're going to. It's a celebration of life because we're hippies, and that's what my aunt wanted. And I was telling my husband, I'm prepping him. He's never met the full family here, and he'll be meeting most of them at this arrangement. I said there's going to be. There's a very high chance that someone will pinch your bum. Just so you know, there's going to be a lot of hugging. There might be a bum pinch. My aunt would have been the first person to pinch his butt and ask me how the sex was. That's just who she was. She was a big tattooed lady full of vivacious life, and yeah, that's who she was. She was an ex-biker, NA for over 10 years. I think it was 15 or something. It's actually close to her NA birthday, which is Narcotics Anonymous, so she had been clean for quite some time, which is when I started to get to know her and my uncle, ex-bikers. And she was just really full of life. And she loved everybody. And contrary to the fact that everyone in my family is very insular, we're very like I can rule a room if I need to, but then I need my serious me time. She never wanted me time, ever. She lived in a world of constant people. And that's the way she liked it. And everybody loved her. She had fans and friends and family. And people who were family because they just stuck around that long. So, it's going to be a celebration. And we're going to celebrate. And I will probably tell the story of Lana almost dying in her bosom at least once. Because at my second brother's wedding, like my oldest brother, then my second brother, and then me and the baby. My second brother's wedding, I took my friend Lana. We were both dressed up. I looked like a hooker. She looked like an 80s prom queen. And everyone thought we were together. They thought we were a lesbian couple, which was fine, but we were like, her boyfriend's at home. I may have a boyfriend at some point. I don't know. And my aunt came up to her, and this was back when she weighed a lot, before she had gastric bypass. She was a really big woman for a very long time, and then she, had gastric bypass and went boop. But it was back before that, and she came up to my friend Lana, and she goes, "In this family, we don't shake hands, we hug." And she enveloped her in this massive hug, and Lana's like 5 feet tall and 100 pounds soaking wet. So she was thrust face first into a bosom that nearly suffocated her in this loving hug of welcome to the family, goodness. And afterwards she was like, "I nearly died in that bosom. She suffocated me in that bosom." It smelled good. So there you have it. That's my aunt in a nutshell. And I think we'll remember her fondly, and she loved a good knitted sock. I knit her many socks. She had huge feet, and I didn't care because she loved knitted socks. And so that was me last week, was dealing with that and dealing with family, and a little bit of this week. It'll trickle over into April. I apologize if I'm not very present. I'm dealing with myself first. And I will get the prices out. They're almost all ready to go. But and updates will happen. You'll see it on the Knitter's Nightmare board, and so forth and so on. So now that I've depressed everyone, moving on, I do have some finished objects. Well, not really. I have a finished object. This is the Sunnyside cardigan. The baby that this is for was actually born. A healthy little man. So I guess it's a good thing I went with the green. It has cable details down the sleeves and down the front sides. I haven't sewn in the ends or put buttons on. This is out of Patton's Croy in a numbered colorway. That's true to color almost. It's a green with hints of purple and red. And the detail goes down the back too. Honestly, I'm weaving in ends, buttons, and blocking, and then this is ready to go. I want to make a hat to go with it, and maybe some booties. It depends. I gotta get that out. I did a 3 to 6 months, so I've got a couple months, because I can't do deadlines right now to save my life unless it's work related. There's no deadline knitting going on. Just freaking do the squares. That's what I do. So the square is out of Handmaiden or Fleece Artist in the Sea Silk. I knit Bordello socks for my mother out of that. This is the Tainted Love by Vesper. Those socks have long since died. I cannot remember for the life of me what I knit out of this. I know it's a Blue Moon Fiber Arts. I don't remember the colorway. This is one of the few things where I'm like, what did I make out of this? I know I have leftovers, but what did I do? I gave it away, clearly, because I don't even remember having something out of this. But, so, those are the 3 I got done. For some reason, I've decided that I need to spin at least 4 ounces a week. And I think it has to do with SSK. I'm not going to lie to you. I want to buy all the things. And so I need to spin down the stash a bit so that I can justify buying more fiber. Because if I don't, and I've got Shepherd's Harvest coming up in May, I actually have fiber from last year's shepherd's harvest. It's 16 ounces though, or 13 ounces, and I want to spin for a sweater on that. And let's just face it, I need to get my mojo to a certain point where that's acceptable. But so I spun this. This is not washed or thwacked, so it's a Navajo ply of the Something Wicked Gradient by Fiber Optic, which I did get at SSK. It is an 80/20 merino silk. I forgot how slippy things can be. It's probably a sport weight. Heavy fingering, sport weight, Katie. Heavy fingering. And yeah, so that needs to be washed and thwacked. I'm building a little pile over here you cannot see. Here's snowboards from the last episode. And those will get done. So yeah. But my mother-in-law and Jack are both giving me some scraps for the blanket because I have gone from 2 baskets to 1 of scraps for the blanket. So I am eating through my scraps, which makes me gleeful. You have no idea. The hippie, recycle, reduce, reuse person in me is just like getting off every time I finish one. And then I'm going to take some of the littler ones, the little leftover balls that I have, and weigh them and send them to my mother-in-law, who's doing a Hexabuff blanket, because we are definitely cannibalistic knitters. I have this scrap. I have this scrap. Let's just change, and we can both use these scraps, and they'll be used. And oh my God, just put me on the field with a goat and a plowshare. Yeah, all of you are like, what the Sadie, you lost your... I lost my mind. It's okay. In my Seashore Sharon bag, which you haven't seen in a while, because it's been holding the same project, which are the hand-spun, hand-knit socks. So I had the first one done, right? This goes up to like the point where my cuff increases. My calf. You know, where my calf muscle just all of a sudden blooms and it looks like a giant full moon butt. This is where it goes to. That's where I knit to with my heel. And so I finished one, and you've seen that many times. I don't really need to go over that again. I think I went down to a 0 for the cuff, which is going to become problematic because I'm knitting the hubby's Puppy Love socks on 0s, and I'm not done the first sock. And what am I going to do when I get to the ribbing of the second sock? I don't know. I may just say screw it and continue on with the 1.5 I'm using. The US 1, sorry, 1. The 2.25 millimeter needle from Hiya. I don't know. I may just say screw it, do a twisted rib, and say have a nice day. Because I'm getting close to the ribbing on the second sock. So here's the second sock, and there's the heel. This heel is completely different. It's a little shorter, and that's because I was watching a documentary called Patriocracy. Either way, it's on Netflix. It's a great, if you're into politics, it's great because it talks about the political standstill that comes from having two parties that are not willing to meet in the middle. I've been watching documentaries. I also watched Misrepresentation, and I felt in Canada, I didn't need to be a feminist. We had a lot of stuff. Here, I'm like, I need to become a feminist again. Because before, I was just like letting it roll. I was like, we've got it. We've got equality. We're getting there. We don't need to fight as much in Canada because we've got the whole year off for our... I didn't know this. In the States, you guys don't get a year off when you have maternity leave. You don't get paternity leave. You don't get, like, seriously, in Canada, if a woman goes back too soon, they assume her boobs are not producing the milk. They're giving her tips on how to produce breast milk because they assume that there's something really wrong going on. Because you get a year off. And the year off is supposed to be for breastfeeding and bonding with your child. And here, it's like 6 to 8 weeks, and you can schedule a C-section, which you can't. In Canada, well, you couldn't when I left. Like, it had to be life-threatening, or there had to be problems for them to do a C-section. They'd induce you, but whatever. So, I did not understand how far behind women are in the United States. Until I watched that. It's like, okay, I guess I have to put on my feminist hat again. Need to make a new feminist hat because I lost my old one. I was just busy being a post-feminist and happy in my little world, and now I have to care about making cupcakes. Okay. So, needless to say, I'm about an inch away from starting the ribbing on this. It is out of Gail's Art. The Sherlock colorway in our 8515 BFL nylon. It's gorgeous. It's wonderful. I spun a 3-ply, and now I'm knitting it. You've seen it before. Hopefully it'll be a finished object next week, and then I can be like, I have 2 finished pairs of socks. I got like 8 on the needles, but do you think I can finish them this year? Yes, that's right. And I watched Mansome. I'm not sure if you've ever watched Mansome. Apparently Netflix documentaries, that's where I'm at right now. I watched the Freakonomics one, and that one is amazing. And then I watched Mansome, which is about men's trend towards becoming handsome, which includes body waxing and anal waxing and it just all kinds of weird shit I didn't know we were making our men do, because I honestly could care less. But apparently a lot of men really care, so there's a documentary about it. Don't know how I feel about that. So that's what I'm working on. I haven't really worked on much else. I'll give you a brief show of what's in the shop, because there's been a couple updates, and you may have missed them. We've got the Frightenstein, which is the Falkland, in the Orbiting colorway. I have to throw these somewhere where they're safe. I will put them up here. We've got Spring Monsters, which is a take off of the Monster Mash. It's the lighter version. It's pretty. And that's on Polworth. Lumpy. I brought in an 8515. I'm calling it Cyborg. It's an 85% Superwash BFL, 15% nylon. This is the Harmonic Elements colorway. And I'm doing them in 6-ounce bumps so you can spin for socks, because apparently I need to pass that crazy on to people. Making another appearance, of course, is the Lady Polgara, which is blues, teals, purples, and lots of nice white to shade that out. So and see, when you're spinning, the white actually just blends out. So it's not like this giant white thing. It makes the blues softer. It really looks cool. And last in the fiber department is By the Woods, which is a Tori Amos reference. If you didn't know, Orbiting and By the Woods are both Tori Amos references. You know, by the woods, by the woods, by the woods, by the woods. In the Black Dove January Girl song. And Orbiting, of course, is the name of the live CD. Or no, Orbiting is To Venus and Back, the CD, and Still Orbiting is the live version. So, By the Woods, very bright, gorgeous colors in Falkland. The Frightenstein, of course. And because I got shit last time, I did the Armed Forces in fingering weight. So you've got your goats, which is your navy. It's supposed to look like my husband's NWUs, and I can hold it up against the NWUs, and it does look similar. The bulldogs, which look green because of my shirt, but it's taupe and tan and beige, and there are 3 stripes. This is for bulldogs, of course, USMC, Marine Corps. We've got griffins, just 2 different shades of gray-green and a lovely soft tan. And griffins is the Air Force. Of course, I used their animals, their mascots. There we go. I grabbed 2 griffins. I didn't grab a mule. Mules are the army people. And I did another goblin pack. They happen. This is the goblin pack, so you get 4 25-gram skeins. And this is the mules right here. So it looks like they're combat fatigues. Ta-da! Those are all up in the shop. I put them up like right before I started recording, so there may still be some, because I haven't been recording, so people don't know what's up and when it's up and stuff. The new lace weight I've brought in, which is spider lace, it's an 80/20 merino silk. This is Pluto. It's gorgeous shaded purple. And because I get flack for only doing colors on fiber, and then I don't do them on on the yarn. This is Harmonic Elements on the Skeleton Sock, which is 100% superwash merino. So that's everything that's gone up. That's everything that's gone down. I'm quite boring. I did go out on the weekend with Jack. Apparently me and Jack were like this. And we went to see Johnette Napolitano. And I don't know if you know who Johnette Napolitano is, but if I say Concrete Blonde and she's the lead singer, now all of a sudden all of you are going, ah. And she's like one of my idols, so I totally fangirled. And I got her book, it's signed, blah, 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 you know, like, it's Johnette Napolitano. She played all the songs. She did an acoustic Tomorrow Wendy, which, of course, nearly damn well made me cry. And she did Take Me Home, which is one of my favorite songs, and not a lot of people think of it because it's off Group Therapy, which was the second last Concrete Blonde album that's been released. So afterwards, we got to meet her, and there's a song by Pretty and Twisted, which is one of her side groups, called Dear Marlon Brando, and it's about a book she read about Marlon Brando, which was his autobiography. Well, I had a copy of a different book by Marlon Brando, so I gave it to her, and she was very excited, and I gave her a shawl I had made a while ago that I just haven't worn. It's the Lyric shawl out of Unique Sheep. It's the 50/50 merino silk. It's very gorgeous. And it's just been sitting around, and I thought, I will give her a shawl, because she's also a seamstress and a tattoo artist. She has her hand in so many pies. And so I gave her the shawl, and she immediately put it on and starts hugging me, and I'm just like, she's touching me! So Jack took a picture for me with my phone, which I was able to unlock while shaking. I'm like, what's my password? iPhone, shut up. But, so I'll try and include that in the podcast proper. I'll put it at the end. I'll put the picture at the end. You can see me, like, beaming. I look like I'm drunk or high, and I'm not. So that gives you an estimation. But she was very into it. She asked me about the knitting. Did I use a pattern? And, oh my god, it's just so gorgeous. And she's from California, so she was really cold. So it was very helpful for her. She told me to look her up when I'm in California so she can tattoo me, and I was like, yes. FYI, I will go to San Diego now. See, before I wouldn't, because I'm not a California person, but now I will go just because of the tattooing. Drive out to Joshua Tree. I don't even care how far it is. I will drive there. Take some extra carrots for her horses. I don't care. And she was a former Navy wife, so we bonded on that, and yeah, that was the high point of my life for the year. How's that for you? It's like, this makes me so happy, and I've been so down lately that this is just bizarre. So I will throw a picture of that in at the end. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope to record next week. I will record next week. Hopefully I'm getting back to the semblance of sanity that I need. I don't know. What I do know is it's 2:30, and I need to go and get stuff done before they come here to fix my sink and my toilet. Just the other thing going on, the master bathroom toilet sprung a leak, which normally I can fix if it was like the bobble thing or the flap thing. I've changed those that are connected to the handle. I've changed those. I'm good with those. I know what to do. I know how to drain it. Blah, blah, blah. It's actually the stack has a crack in it, so I do need the professional person from the condo-y place to come and fix that. And while they're at it, they can fix the leak in my sink. Which is actually probably just that it needs to have the white tape stuff re-put on it. It looks really disgusting. Like, it's really old and it's degraded to that point. Because I'm pretty sure they don't change out this stuff unless they have to. So, while I could probably do it, I'm not going to, because I pay rent here to do that. And it's not my house. Like, if it was my house, I'd do it, and I'd be like, okay, internet, tell me how to do this, and I'd do it, and I'd be done with it, and I'd call my brother, and he'd be like, I'll come check. And he'd come check, or he'd watch me do it, or he'd show me how to do it. I don't have the luxury of my brother, and it's not my house. I don't own it. I'm not going to mess it up. So, yeah, that's my life. That's my days. If you may have noticed, we have stopped syndicating to iTunes, and at some point I will have enough care and energy to do the whole feed burn, pod, blah, archive, blah, to get it back on. I don't care right now. So please respect that my life is kind of completely going off kilter right now, and that you can watch it on the Blip app, on Blip directly, or on iTunes, or on YouTube, on the blog. Thank you. Thank you for that respect. I thank you in advance. You know what? We watch podcasts before Blip, before Downcast, before iTunes. We watched podcasts, and I remember sitting at my computer when I had a spare moment, or setting up my computer to play it while I was cleaning or something, and just being in the vicinity of it and being able to look over. And life is not so convenient that it has to be on iTunes. So we'll make do. And I love everybody who continues to stay with me. Anywho, that's a lot of ramble. I will see everybody next week. Have a great week.